If you were to think of large carnivores, you'd probably think of things like bears, tigers, or wolves in your top 10 first animals. This is where the mammalian order Carnivora gets its name. Most hypercarnivores in the mammal class are from this group. They are one of the most rad groups of mammals, but more importantly, they are the focus of today's video, where we will break down the Pokemon that could fall into this group in our world. For those of you who don't know, mammalian carnivores in the order of Carnivora break down into two suborders, that of Feliformia and Caeniformia. And as some of you astute viewers may be able to guess, Feliformia breaks down into animals with similar structure to that of felines or cats, whereas Caeniformia breaks down into animals similar to canines or dogs. With that said, Carnivora also includes animals like hyenas, bears, raccoons, otters, and other small carnivores that will fall into Feliformia or Caeniformia. We'll get more into these groups in this video, where we will talk more in depth about where each of those subgroups fall. Let's start with the smaller group of these in the Pokemon world, Feliformia, where we'll start with the most obvious, Felidae, or the cats. Within Felidae, there are more breakdowns between cats that we'll address, and the first group that we're going to talk about is the small cats, or the Felis genus. Say that 10 times fast. Within this genus, we have Pokemon lines for Skitty, Glameow, Esper, and Sprigatito. Now, I'm sure some of you are wondering, what about Meowth? Now, normally I would definitely include Meowth, but because Persian is built more like the body of a panther or mountain lion, I've opted to include them in the next group, Panthera. Panthera is what most people refer to as big cats. This includes our lions, tigers, leopards, as well as some others. But with Meowth and Persian being the only true panthers, we'll move on to the true lions. This includes both the Litleo line as well as Entei, depending on if you believe the Burn Tower story or if you think that the upcoming Paradox form are the true original forms, in which case they might be elsewhere. Regardless, next we have tigers. That includes both forms of the Growlithe lines, Raikou, again the same sort of situation as Entei, Litten's line, Zeraora, and I know this is a stretch, but I would say the Electabuzz line, because I can't really think of anything else it would be. Although it is based on a yokai that always wears tiger stripes. Plus, like, look at him. What the heck is this thing? Anyway, next we'll talk about the leopards, which includes both the normal leopards and the snow leopards. This includes Purloin's line, Suicune, which is the same story as the others, Qianpao, and another stretch, Absol. I believe Absol is most Felid-like, and I can justify calling it a snow leopard because it lives in the snow, and it's a white cat looking dude. I don't know. Again, it's based on a yokai, so I tried my best. And lastly, for the true cats, we have the Lynx group, which includes, you guessed it, Shinx and his family. I know that was a lot. So let's jump into the last two groups in the Feliformes grouping that is not cat related. Can you guess what they are? If you guessed hyenas and mongooses, then you'd be right. Both are fairly small groupings in the Pokemon world, with hyenas only having Poochyena's line, and mongooses only containing Zangoose and Yungoose's line. And then that's it for Feliformes. That means that most of the other large mammalian carnivores will be in the Caeniformes group. This includes the true canines, like the dogs, foxes, and wolves, which include the Riolu line, the Zorua lines, The Vulpix lines, all of the evolutions, the Fennekin line, Nickett's line, Abra's line, I know that one's a stretch, Furfru, Snubble's line, the Houndour line, the Fido line, the Mastiff line, the Yamper line, the Electrike line, Lillipup line, Rockruff's line, Zacian and Zamazenta, the Grievard line, Smeargle, and finally the Swirlix line, which is debatably based on dogs. Near our dog group, we also have the red panda genus, funny enough, which in our world only has one species, and that is also true in the Pokemon world, because it only contains the Stuffle line. Next, we have the true bears, which include the Cubchoo line as polar bears, the Munchlax line, the Teddy Ursa line as brown bears, Pancham line as pandas, and the Cubfu line, which I believe are most based on sun bears. Closely related to bears, though, we have pinnipeds like the seal line and Spiel lines as seals, and the Poplio line as sea lions. And then not too far removed from those are the mustelids like the badgers, such as Cyndaquil's lines, and the otters like the Buizel line, Oshawott lines, and funny enough, the Slowpoke line. This might seem a little weird to call Slowpoke an otter, but look at him. Sort of otter-shaped, and what does he hunt? That's right, mollusks, just like real otters. So I can justify that one more than some of the other ones. Also in the mustelid family are polecats like the Centret line, the Mienfoo line, and the Sneasel lines, although the Sneasel lines are mostly based on the name than the body shape, but they don't really look like anything, in my opinion. This is particularly interesting that the polecats are here and the mongooses are on the cat side of this family tree, because they're based they look so similar to each other, right? And at first glance, you might guess that they are closely related to each other, but they evolved this completely separately. You might also say things like groundhogs or other rodents have similar shapes, but they are not in the Carnivora family at all because they are not hypercarnivores, which is why we don't see Pokemon like Patrat or Watchog in this video, despite being similar in form. And we're almost done with carnivores, I promise. Separate from the mustelids and the bears and seals, but still in the Caeniformes group, we have skunks, which includes the Stunky line, and the raccoons, that include the Zigzagoon lines. And I know this was a lot to cover in one video, but to be fair, there are a lot of Pokemon to cover, so I kind of have to do it this way. The carnivores break up some really fascinating groups from the rest of the animal kingdom. Groups that are evolved specifically to be apex predators in their respective ecosystems. But that wraps up our video for today. If you like this video and you want to see more like it, subscribe to our channel. And if you'd like to talk about anything we covered in today's video in the comments, leave your thoughts below and I'll be sure to get back to you when I can. We've actually had some really eye-opening comments on our last video, and I really want to encourage that sort of interaction. So feel free to leave your comments below and we can have that sort of dialogue. Thank you for watching and have a great day.